Hello all, my name is Scott Grove, back fresh from a new haircut, nice and clean shaved. Tried to get rid of about 15 years of my looks, trying to find that fountain of youth. So try not to look like Charles Manson so much, or Meatloaf. A lot of comparisons to Meatloaf. So we are kicking, hopefully, that image goodbye. Pardon me while I work on that thing. What I'm going to work on today with you guys is to try to convince some of my country guitar players, which I'm 99.9% a country guy, that a Floyd Rose and possibly some other whammies can benefit you and not be a total detriment to you. There's just creative ways to make them work for you. These are not new ideas. These are just simply ideas that people outside of the country genre, are doing, and people that listen to country or whatever will come to me before they will come, to somebody who's just wailing away with their Floyd and just driving everybody up a wall. There is a way to use your Floyd Rose productively in country music. There's always a drawback to any free-floating whammy, and let's just go ahead and start showing you what the pros and cons are, but the way to really make this work for you if you have a guitar with a whammy bar, and like I said, just how to make it work for you and what one thing works against you. Okay, so let's go down to the guitar I currently have on, which is a 1987 Jackson Dinky. I don't know why they did not think to do any kind of a reversed wound middle pickup, so it's just noisy in every position. Here's the bridge and the middle pickup. So we have noise. Bridge pickup by itself, noise. Add in the middle, noise. Add in the neck, more noise. Take away the middle only so you have telly. It's just noise no matter what. So it is a Jackson with 3 single coils, and there's no kind of hum canceling. Okay, that's not what we're here about, but that will let you know why the noises are here. I just happened to set this guitar up strictly for bends. And these are bends where you actually pull the whammy bar backward. Okay, now what I have done, okay, check this out and then I'll show you how to do it. What I have done for this guitar is set the Floyd Rose up so that my low E string all the way through to my B string, everything except for my high E string, when I totally yank the whammy bar back, each string will go sharp by 1 whole step or 2 frets. So if I have a low E string, it will do that. A string, D string, G string, and even the B string. Okay, and the high E string I have set to only go up a half step or 1 fret. And I'll show you the method behind the madness. So here's the proof in the pudding that each one can actually be set to do what I want. Again, the low E, A. This is yanking the whammy bar back as far as it'll go because I have it set this way. D, G, B string, again another whole step, and the high E string, half step. Okay, that is that. Okay, so when you're doing your typical stuff, like in the key of A, okay, if I was doing the, so I'm just yanking back on the B string. Okay, so we can whammy all we want. come back in perfect tune. Why? Because it's an original Floyd Rose. Some of you are, I'll just try to keep this to a minimum. There are other kinds of whammy bars out there. Kaylors, your typical Strat stuff, Steinbergers. Anything that retains the ball end on your guitar and has anything other than the Floyd Rose locking nut will cause you problems. You can get close with a lot of other systems, but you cannot get as perfect as this. What happens with other guitars are simply this. I'll just throw a few guitars out here at you. Here's a Steinberger, which of course has no headstock on it, so you're not can't go out of tune there. But underneath of this bridge, the ball ends are just sitting there cradled into a little thing, and they can, when you whammy it, coming back into, or when you whammy it down, the actual ball ends, just like the Kaylors and the Fenders, but they will actually become unseated. So if you have the ball in there sideways into these two little arms like hooks like this, and the ball end setting there normal, you whammy it, then that ball end can actually go like this, and it comes back out of tune. And that can happen on a few strings. So that is not a beautiful thing. Especially, well, period. Okay, another one. This is just a Fender Contemporary Strat out of Japan with a Schaller stamped Fender bridge, but it retains, and let's try to get some light on the subject. I'm not sure what you can see and what you can't, but the ball ends are in there. You can see a few, but same thing, they will come unseated, or if you whammy this all the way down, they will actually completely pop out of there, which of course is not a good thing. Cool thing about this particular bridge though is that if you detune any string, none of the others go out of tune. If you break 5 strings on this, the one that's left will stay in tune. Look, no springs, Grandma. That's right, they're all underneath here. Pretty cool system, and some people hate this whammy thing here, but I love it. Just flick the lever, it opens up. Flick it back, you're locked. It's a beautiful thing, despite what a lot of people will argue over anything, of course. Okay, now, and I'll break out the regular Strat here in just a second. The reason that I used the particular increments of doing whole step on everything except for the high E string is because, again, this. Okay, these are just the most useful for country players, okay? And plus, if we are doing the... Okay, what's happening here? Okay, I've got the B string going up a whole step. I've got the high E string going up a half step, so I'm going from F sharp to G. And the other one's going from D all the way to E. And the other one's going from F sharp to G. So if I actually were to hit both those together and pull my whammy bar back the way I have it set, which of course I will show you in a second. Let me hold my guitar still. Okay, even if I were to do the old... Okay, now when I do this, all of us country players know how to do it. We're doing only the G and the high E string. But we are going... We're staying in G, but we're bending up the G string a whole step. Of course, that's going to happen when we yank our whammy bar all the way back. But to go from G is impossible to do. You can't do that and then try to bend up your E string a half step. It is very, very difficult. So mechanically doing that is great. Check it out. that great? Okay, so great stuff. Okay, so no matter what you're doing, this whole step thing works great, and then the half step on the high E. Okay, now how do we accomplish such a thing? Okay, here's how you do it, kids. Okay, I'll grab a regular Fender Strat here. This is the Ventures model, which is why it is so cool, and it's active, and I took the back off here to show you basically what happens. Most of you already know this, but when you have your whammy here, here's what is called your block. This is what's controlling it, and the screws. Okay, when you have a floating tremolo system, meaning that it is just, you can pull it backward or push it down, you have a gap between the block and the wood. Okay, when I pull it back, and it stops. Now with it pulled all the way back, see how the block comes in contact with the wood and will not, and it's contact here too, and it will not let the whammy bar go backward anymore. And when it returns to its normal position here, then it can float back up or it can float down. But when you pull it up, okay, here's what you're looking for. This is the low end side, so here's your low E. Okay, there's only two places we can mess with this. And the reason that I'm going to show you this is, number one, so you can make it work. Number two, so you know which side to have the block actually contact with the body. Okay, you see you have a long hunk of wood here, especially on the Fender guitars, that a big huge chunk of this block comes in contact with the body when it's pulled back. But just a little bit over here. This is your low side, so your low E and your A and everything are over here. So you want to adjust your screw, and you have to tune all the time until you get this done. Then you never have to do it again unless you change string gauges. But you want to make sure everything is in perfect tune. Adjust this, pull your whammy bar back until your A string or your low E string, and this works pretty much on all guitars, I've tried it on a whole bunch, go up a whole step, or A to B, or E to F sharp. Okay, so that happens when you pull it all the way back on this short side. Okay, don't worry about this side yet. Get that happening first, and that has to be done with that screw right there. So you screw it in or unscrew it, and then tune your guitar. Every adjustment you make, even if it's a little, 1/16 of a turn, you have to retune your guitar again. Okay, because this has to be 100% precise, so that when you pull that bar back, bang, right there, those strings just went a whole step sharp. Okay, once you get the one side done, you're good to go on that side, and you only have to make the adjustment on the other side. How do you do it? Do you do it with that screw? No, it is not that screw's job anymore. It actually becomes just a place to hold your claw here, okay, your base for your claws. What you have now is this huge area of wood that I showed you, and this is where you can come up with a few different devices to put in there. Since I'm so big into retaining guitars originally, I use probably the least reliable system so I can put it back to original before I was to sell a guitar. Okay, and that would mean actually just a shim of some kind that is slightly tapered, so like a small block of wood that is shaped like a small ramp. Okay, just a little triangle thing, looks like a slice of cheese, and just electrical tape that thing in there so you can take it back out later. But so that when you pull it back, okay, once that hits here, this is actually landing at a whole different place, and you file down or sand down or whittle down that hunk over here so that your high E string will stop at half a step. And it's just the physics of the guitar and the way that whammies are designed, that if you do make it so that it does stop at half a step. Again, you have to retune the whole guitar again, get it exactly right, and then once you make that go to a half step on the high E string, everything else will fall into place if you also made that low E string go a whole step. So it stops against the body on the low E string side with using the spring, same whether it's a Floyd or not. Okay, so you do the low end side so that it goes a whole step, slamming into the body. This side, whether you want to put a screw in there that has like an Allen head on it, and just screw it into the body, which means having to take out the block to initially start it, but then you could always just back it out a little bit or screw it in just a little more. Makes it really easy to adjust, and this just slams right into the head of it, and it's a beautiful way to adjust it. It would be a nice thing to have installed in a guitar. So if you plan on keeping your axe around, it's a cool thing that you can always just break off a toothpick later, glue it in there, and nobody will ever know that you really did anything to it. Or you can just put in some thumbtacks, you can tape in some guitar picks, whatever it takes, but make it so that this comes in contact with a piece of foreign material that is somehow hooked to this big part of the body that you have to work with. Okay, and make your high E string, once everything is in tune, that when you pull it all back, again, your low E string comes into contact with the body and is at F sharp. And that your high E string at the same time just pulls up into tune into F. Everything else will automatically fall into the whole step, or so close that the human ear can't hear it, of being one whole step higher. It's just the way it works. It's just, we're lucky that it works out that way, and that it works great for country players. Okay, so that's simply it. Mess around with that, and again, just to show you, how cool is that? That's my low E string. Okay, so that's pulling it back all the way. And then you can whammy your guts away. Let me see, turn that noise off. But you can still. Okay, and then you're back in just a regular tuning. Just don't you wish all whammies could work that great? And it's all done just like I said. Just the one side hitting the wood, the low E side hitting the wood. When I pull it back, A, D, G, B, and high E. Half step. Everything else is whole step, just by simply doing what I showed you. So, like I said, the one downside to playing with a floating tremolo for country players is that if we want to let like the low E string ring, and then do the typical stuff, listen to the low E string as I'm just making the bends without even playing it. It goes out of tune flat. So we're not allowed to do that anymore. So we can stick with the regular, but we can't add in the low notes like we like to. So, you know, it's time to break out the Strats or the Tellys with the fixed bridges or blocked or decked bridges, or the Jeff bridges or the Nash bridges or whatever. But I just wanted to show you that country folks can have fun too with these things. Okay, so there's so many cool things you can do with it. You can add great things. You can't do that without this system unless you're playing a pedal steel. Now if I have that there, and then we want to go up this. If I'm in the D, and remember, this is cool. Okay, let me get the light just right on here so it's not blaring. If we're doing the G thing, my country guys know what I'm talking about. Then we go to the 5 chord, the D. What's going to happen if I pull up while we're in D, and we're not using the middle or the B string? All we need is that high E string to pull up 1 fret, but we need that G string to grab our 3rd. Or so if we do, no, I won't be so nuts. Okay. Okay, so it comes right in the tune. Just wish my pickups weren't so noisy on this particular guitar, but you get the idea. Or, get it up here where you can see it. There you go. But it's perfect. You pull it back all the way. I mean, you're in pedal steel guitar city where you can, now you don't have to have a B bender so much. I mean, it's cool to be able to just yank down and do that, you know, so no reason to exclude a B bender, but if you have a floating trem and you want to try this, then try it. I've seen it work on every kind of guitar there is. Just know that there are the possible problems just with guitar strings that still have the ball ends on them. It doesn't mean they're inferior whammies or anything and that they can't work. It just means that if it has a ball end on it, it can move. If you have to cut the ball end off in order to fit on a Floyd Rose, then you have that locking nut instead of the Kaler one, which is past the regular nut, which leaves you room for binding and such here, which you can put your nut sauce on. I know it sounds bad. Or your pencil lead, your graphite, or try to use rollers everywhere. That's fine too. You know, the less friction the better. And that's it. Okay, so just clever ways of using this. Like I said, it is not new to tune your whammy for the pulling back. Okay, and I've actually got a little something extra going on back here, which I may or may not divulge sometime. I usually give away my secrets, but check this out without you even knowing it. Okay, I'm pulling back, as far as you know, all the way, and I definitely feel it pulling back all the way. But guess what else I can do? I can go way back. There's more places. I've just got it notched a couple places, so I will feel the notch the first time. Then I can continue to go on. There's another big secret that I'm trying to decide if I want to tell you yet. Okay. So I can do more. So there's more there than meets the eye, but as far as standard, first starting out, messing with the back of your whammy there, that's the way you do it. That's the way. I like it. Okay, I'm getting my disco self on. So once again, folks, Scott Grove, and yeah, looking clean, looking pretty, man. Check this out. My mercy, I look like I'm in my 30s again, don't I? Yeah, just getting ready to hit 50 here in 2 more years. 2 more years, 50 coming right up. Yeah. Okay, so that's it. So have some whammy and good times, and know that the country people are not left out of the Floyd Rose fun or just the whammy bar fun. Know that there is something else you can do besides dive bombing or just mellow stuff. You can set up a guitar to have this kind of flexibility, this kind of fun, whether it be for live stuff or whether it be for recording, which is very nice if you're not any kind of a pedal steel player. So you can use your whammies and your compressor and your volume pedals and create some very nice sounding make sure you shut that low E off. Okay, so you can add some nice stuff that you normally couldn't do, especially if you can't afford a bead bender or don't have one or don't need one. This only takes one time of getting used to it, and it took me 5 minutes to set up this whole system. You know, it's because I know what I'm doing with it, but hopefully that makes it easy enough to understand that where you're not going to have much problem with it either. The thing is to tune every string as many times as you have to. Quick, snap it in there and bring the low one first, get it done so it goes up a whole step, then put whatever you have to in there and then make it thicker or thinner until your high E string only goes up a half step, and while everything's being retuned again till both of them pull up at the right place and you are done. Leave it, put the back on. You never have to mess with it again. It's there forever until you change it. Okay, and then everything else will work. Everything else will go a whole step up except for that high E string. It's just the way the guitars are built. Okay, so if your cavity on the back of your guitar is in the right place, doesn't matter. You can build that high E side up or down with the material you add in there to make it only go as far as it needs to go. So if it's cut wrong or at an angle, it don't matter. You're adding or taking away material there to make sure it works. Okay? So again, have fun. I'll shut up, go away, and let you go in there and start Frankensteining. Okay? Once again, Scott Grove, and that's it. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.